this with all my police and military memorabilia.
New developments.
That's me.
Have a former detective.
This is my Funston file.
Digging up details.
Just my portion.
Of the past. Flipping through pages of what he thought was history.
3 life sentences. Did you ever think we would be here talking about this?
No. And I'm serious. I took my files out when I first heard about this, and I dusted them off. It's been 30-some-odd years.
77-year-old Richard Aromando was one of the lead detectives with the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office in 1995, who spent months investigating what seemed like a series of cases of children going missing.
After a while, they determined this is not a missing person, this is a kidnapping.
One after the other.
We've got a pattern going on here.
Children about 4 or 5 years old described a man.
Those some of the composites that we did on him.
Who lured them with things like candy or jewelry before molesting them.
The major break in the case was when he tried to kidnap 2 young girls. But luckily there was a neighbor saying, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Who are you?"
He says that neighbor took note of the man's license plate.
And that's when we started narrowing down our suspect list to Mr. Funston. That is David Allen Funston when we did the photo lineup. We arrested him, we did the search warrant. And the rest is history.
Or so he thought, until he saw the news a few weeks ago.
The Sacramento Sheriff Jim Cooper is warning people about the release of a man who was convicted of kidnapping and child molestation.
They're getting ready to release Funston. No, can't be.
Funston was serving 3 life sentences for his 1999 conviction on kidnapping and child molestation charges involving 6 victims. But the 64-year-old was eligible for elderly parole. Eligible and suitable, a parole board panel found in September, granting him parole after 27 years in prison.
Why? 3 life sentences. What does this tell the victims?
Commissioner Patricia Cassidy, who was appointed to the parole board by Governor Gavin Newsom, said Funston's release would not pose an unreasonable risk to public safety. But the governor asked the full parole board to take a second look at that decision. Last month, they did. And a majority, once again, voted for Funston's release on parole.
The parole board decision was not lightly made. It was a very thorough procedure.
Martin Jones is Funston's attorney.
They looked at every aspect of the potential risk. They looked at his behavior while in prison. They looked at all the programming that he did. And most importantly, they looked at his insight into the underlying crimes.
Can you understand how maybe people have questions about that decision when he was asked things like, are you currently attracted to children? And he said yes, or he describes having fantasies of children as recently as 2021.
Right, and again, that shows a lot of insight, that he's willing to acknowledge that he has those urges.
And he says the board felt Funston had a plan to keep those urges under control. For weeks, we've been pushing to hear from the board. Our interview requests were denied. But today,
these professionals are highly trained.
We went to a meeting to try again.
And it isn't that the commissioners are just sort of making gut decisions. It's a standard that they apply in every single case.
This is Scott Wyckoff, the executive officer to the Board of Parole Hearings.
We understand that there's a lot of concern about elderly parole and the policy surrounding that. And that really is an issue for the legislature to resolve. But the attacks that we've seen on our commissioners and the board, the threats that they've received are really undermining the process that we have and really don't have any place in this debate.
So the day came for Funston's release, but instead he traded one cell for another, transferred from state prison to a Placer County jail.
He remains in custody without bail.
District Attorney Morgan Geyer charged him with a lewd and lascivious act on a child, linked to a 1996 case that Placer County says it didn't need to prosecute back when Funston was convicted in Sacramento County.
Mr. Funston was already being prosecuted and convicted and sentenced to life sentences. And in those days, life sentences meant just that, life sentences.
I've never been presented with a similar situation where a person's released on parole and then is charged for a crime that occurred before they were ever sent to prison. So this is a novel situation for me.
Jones isn't convinced this is about justice.
I believe it's about the public outcry that my client was released.
For many,
Let them serve their time.
the case is raising questions about what justice really means.
I'll take a deep breath now.
As it drudges up memories they had hoped would stay in the past. Lysée Mitri, KCRA 3 Investigates.
Funston pleaded not guilty in the Placer County case. If convicted, the charge carries a penalty of up to 8 years in prison.